Coverage here with myself, Odie, Pixel and Draskell. We're ready to get ourselves into the first game of the second best of 3 of the day between the sides of Hellraisers and Chappa 2. And of course, Chappa 2 translates to...
Why are you stopping as if I were to know whatever that translates to? Come on. We're better than this.
But anyway, I'm liking the draft from coming out for them. They've got the Jug, they've got the Magnus, they've got the combo that we did see, of course, in the last series. The side of a Sparrow, look for, not get. Chappa goes straight in, first 2 picks with it.
Yeah, and Hellraisers even had the chance to take away the mag if they wanted to, because Chappa had first pick and first pick Juggernaut. So instead of going for the Magnus at all, which as any team would probably feel it's obvious that they're going to pick it, instead they go for a Zeus, which is a counter to mag, and then they pick the Bat Rider on top of that, which is good against mag and Juggernaut. So I feel like Hellraisers have already kind of addressed the situation a little bit with just their first 2 picks. Obviously, Zeus being great against any Blink hero, and then a melee core going up against Bat Rider is always a nightmare.
Absolutely, that is true. And Hellraisers Bat, I believe we've seen them, well, we've seen them quite a lot. I'm pretty sure they have played Bat before here in this series, and they've done it pretty damn well. The Slark is going to get banned out, and I believe the Slark is one of the cores that they do like to go for, the side of Hellraisers, and it also a core that pretty nice against the Juggernaut.
It's great against Juggernaut and mag, because even if you don't, like if you have vision of the RP coming your way and he blinks in, all you have to do is time your Dark Pact right, and that's an ulti down the drain, and there's no guarantee that you're even going to get the kill. Like you said, he's fantastic against Jug because of Shadow Dance and Pounce, so there's a lot of ways that the Slark can become a general nuisance for Jug in general, so I like the ban. And since, I mean, Sniper and Troll are taken out already, so there's not going to be any ho-ho, ha-ha, none of that business in this game. See what the Hellraisers want to try to do. They actually take away the Spirit Breaker themselves, and they're going to go with a Dazzle pick.
Okay, so with this Dazzle pick picked up at this point, and looking also at the fact that they did ban out the Phoenix, do you think this kind of lends towards a safe lane melee carry that we can predict looking at the draft so far? I mean, someone that works nicely with a Dazzle? Anyone that comes to mind?
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with it. Having a Bat Rider gives you a lot of leeway, and you already have Zeus. So you have good initiation, you have good damage. So it really, well, they go with the PL a bit earlier. I mean, to be honest, PL is great, but I don't know if I would have gone for a PL against mag and Jug, because there's already a multitude of ways to deal with your illusion spam, and a good RP is still kind of fight winning if you're on the side of Chappa. So obviously a strong hero in his own right, like going for Diffusal Blade, getting the Manta style, the Scotty, you become a nuisance like on that hero. That's what I would prefer to call it. And ever since his changes, he has great fighting potential, even a bit earlier on into the game. So it definitely has its merits. I just don't know if it's going to be quite as potent as we've seen some of the other PL picks in this tournament.
Okay, and I mean, it's certainly going to give Chappa a couple of picks as well to think very specifically about the PL and how they want to manage it. They're going to go in with the Silencer pick.
I like the Silencer a lot against the style that Hellraisers is choosing to go for here. So typically what happens is the Bat Rider goes in, he finds his lasso target, pulls him out of position, and they die. That's just like pretty standard Bat Rider play, right? But if you're playing against Silencer, and you silence after the lasso, and the Bat Rider doesn't have a Force Staff or a method of escape, you're opening up a lot of opportunities for the counter initiation play coming in. And also it can easily set up an RP, because if you global, you have plenty of time to get in position and throw in your ulti. And James, one of the more prolific Silencer players of our time, has often said, Silencer is great against teams that want to fully commit to a team fight, and Bat Rider pretty much does that. Like when he goes in, he's all in. He either gets the kill or he dies. So in that sense, global works really well.
Oh, indeed, and it's also going to be very nice just for the fact of catching out the PL. You know, the team's going to be like, we're going on PL, Silencer just pops the R, and suddenly PL, at least before he gets the Manta style, is going to be able to commit to a potential gank. Shadow Fiend's going to be the final ban, and almost kind of surprising that it got this far, because that is one of the heroes that we do see Afro Ninja do a lot of work on the mid lane, and it's looking like, I mean, you'd imagine it's going to be the Zeus Afro Ninja though in the mid lane, wouldn't you? Or do you think it could be a support Zeus? I
think it'll be offlane Bat.
Yeah.
And then it'd probably just be Zeus mid. Yeah. I mean, support Zeus is, it's okay. I mean, I guess you still kind of accomplish the same thing with stopping blinks, but I think they're going to want a secondary support here. I mean, they already have a Dazzle, maybe pick something with some kind of disable. I'd even say AA is pretty solid. Like, AA Blast with Zeus and Bat is like, it's a free kill. And you're not really going to be contesting the lane from Chappa anyway. The PL can go Vlad's, farm the woods, you can get your AA some farm, Dazzle can take the role of the 5, and you have a really nice, well-rounded composition.
I think, yeah, the AA pick would be very nice. Of course, against the Joke, the team with the healing ward that may be looking for the aggression. You're going to be able to stop the pushes very, very nicely. And we'll see now as it comes down to the final 15 or so seconds of the bonus time power. Is it going to be your AA?
I just like being right, but now they're going to go Storm. Okay, so it is a Zeus support. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they just feel as though they don't need the Zeus damage necessarily, and this does secure them a bit of a more stable late game.
Yeah.
Like having double core. I mean, Zeus is kind of a core, but not in a traditional sense. And although farming Storm against Silencer, like I don't know about that.
You know,
it just seems weird. Like I don't think they needed to pick another core. I think they could have easily ran Zeus mid, and he would have beaten anything that Chappa could have put here because Sniper's banned, Queen's banned, Shadow Fiend's banned. What hero do you put against the Zeus that actually just wins? Like, sure, Mag will farm, but the Zeus will have free farm. Like, he'll be able to get pretty much everything. So, I don't know.
I mean, be picking a Storm into Silencer, do you have to seriously think about building a BKB this game, or can you still play around
Orchid.
You can play around, okay.
Like, I think what they're going to do is they're going to go Orchid on him so he can jump the Silencer. That way they can start team fights on two fronts, right? Like, you can go in with the bat and you can Orchid the Silencer, and then it's like there's no counter initiation, and then you just go. But it's a little bit harder to execute, and I usually favor the lineups that have an easier time playing their style. So, like we talked about the outdraft in one of the previous matches in the second game, because of how easy their style was to play. All they had to do was win the lanes, and they win the game, right, when Tinker were playing. Those are the kind of drafts that you want to play, because there's so much room for error, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and you can still potentially win. But in this case, I think that Chappa, their game plan is quite simple. Wait for them to initiate global, and then try to fight it.
Well, final pick now for the side of Chappa. I mean, do you feel it is pretty much got to be a Silencer support, or could we be seeing Silencer in the mid lane, Magnus in the off lane, and now they're going to pick up their second support?
I guess you could go that way, but they might be pretty reliant on Magnus Blink to try to make anything happen.
Yeah.
Like, who initiates for their team?
Could you go aggressive with the Joke and the Venge? I guess you could so far. Throwing a Silencer there as well. It could be a nasty lane for the PL to farm against. Lena's going to be the final pick. Lina. So that's probably going to be the core Lina mid.
It could be mid. It could also... Yeah, I think it's probably just mid. That's my guess.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, Team Chappa, it's hard to tell with the players because it's, well, at least for myself and I believe for you as well, Drasko, the first time we are seeing this team play in competitive. Up against the side of Hellraisers here in the first match of the best of three here at the ASUS ROG Season 3 Dream League with myself, ODPixel, and Drasko. So on the side of the Radiant, we're going to have Hellraisers. There's going to be Artez. He's going to be on that PL. We're going to have Goddamn on the support Dazzle. It's going to be Afro Ninja, of course, on the mid lane Storm Spirit. It's going to be Gretz on the support Zeus. And finally, on the off lane will be Dread on his Batrider Drasko. What are we seeing then in terms of lanes coming out from the Dire?
All right, so Team Chappa here, we got Dodgers Dota. He's going to be playing the Juggernaut. Behind him, we're going to have Metpum. He's playing on Silencer. White Peepo. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a cute version of saying white people or what, but he's going to be handling the Venge. A little bit farther south, we're going to have Pasha Invoker, excuse me. I don't know how I read that wrong the first time. And then finally, Nicarillo. He's going to be playing Mag.
Okay, some funky names indeed on the side of Team Chappa. And I mean, we saw earlier, obviously today, Aspera going up against Tinker. The underdogs didn't really perform. Well, let's see if the Team Chappa are able to give Hellraisers a little bit of a run for their money. In terms of drafts, going straight into this, you were talking about the fact that Storm being picked into Silencer and other kind of matchups. Do you kind of feel the Team Chappa have got the upper hand in terms of draft?
Not really. No. It's more just like HR last picked something that I wasn't really expecting, which can be a good and a bad thing, like for Chappa. It's another method of initiating a team fight, which HR seem to always want to be able to fight. Like, that's one of their go-tos. I mean, it's a CIS team, so they want to be able to battle, and that's a good thing because it's fun to watch. So I understand why they picked it. And it does function okay against a Silencer in the sense that once you do get your core items up, you can actually just kill him before the fight starts. And that is a very powerful tool. Also great against Juggernaut. So it does warrant some pretty good praise in terms of what the hero offers to the draft. I just don't know, like, are they really going to be able to do much on the side of Chappa during the early game? Are they going to be one of those teams who relies so heavily on ultimates that HR are just going to kind of outplay them? Because that's what I feel like HR's team has the potential to do. If you don't have your ultis up, you can't really fight into HR. And HR don't have long cooldown spells.
They don't indeed. I mean, we're talking about in the draft of Magnus being put on the off lane isn't going to have a very good timing on the Blink Dagger, and that's certainly going to be the case against this tri lane.
It's one of the the problems when you have a mid and then maybe you decide eventually you push him into the off lane instead when your original plan was to not have to do that. But for here, I mean, Lina should beat Storm mid, like pretty badly, but it's FNJ, so I'm assuming he's probably just gonna outplay. And he did it when he was playing against Shadow Fiend as well. I can't remember who Shadow Fiend it was, but he was like totally, it was Baby Knight. He was totally dominating the lane until he got ganked like twice in a row. And Dread out here almost dying horribly.
Yeah, he's diving very, very deep. He doesn't have a TP. He's got a few tangos. Firefly is going to run out now. Silence is just walking all over it. He does not care. It's only level 1 Firefly. There's no sticky napalm Dread with the little bit of a retread of the juice.
My!
Oh, he still
Okay,
goes down. Magic missile in the right click. Does find
that
the
one
first blood.
tree. That one tree almost just ended everything.
First blood there for White Peepo. And well, it's a good way for the side of Team Chappa to start up against Hellraisers.
Yeah, killing the bat's nice, but we always talk about the comeback potential of the hero and how you're never really going to keep him out of the game. A kill is a kill. I will definitely agree with that, so I'm sure they'll be quite pleased that they managed to catch out. Quite an elusive offlaner as well. Like, bat's probably one of the hardest heroes to straight up first blood unless you're playing very greedy, which, I mean, I'll be honest, Dread ran to the enemy's tier 2 tower. Maybe not the play. Maybe could have just turned around at any given point, but...
And he's going to come back, and now mid pump with the right clicks, and now with the curse, they're going to send the Jug in, but they won't be able to chase him down. Yeah, the brown boots on Dread doing wonders for that. So it's 1-0 still at the moment. Juggernaut.
Career snipe here in mid, perhaps?
Ooh. Yeah, goddamn. That's regrets.
Yeah, he's standing behind the tier 2-ish. Waiting for it.
There we go.
Oh, it's going to be super slow because of the bottle, too. This should be a really easy kill, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, did he see him because of the tower? Did they see him? They didn't see him. Oh wait, he didn't see the courier.
Oh,
I don't know what he's doing.
What's he doing? What's the plan?
He doesn't have lane vision. Oh. He saw the courier at the Lina. Why is he not going for this? Okay, that was really bizarre. Like, if you're going for the snipe and you see the courier at the hero in middle lane,
you know that
it's going to be on its way back, and you can just stand in the lane and look, because he walked it straight down. He didn't even try to hide it. I mean, sure, he could have juked into the trees, and then maybe your courier snipe fails, but he kind of just wasted a decent bit of time there. Not the end of the world, but...
He's going to come down the river now. We'll see if he can shut off the Magnus, but Magnus has backed right up. Middle lane, I mean, you said that Lina should win, but then we did bear in mind that it is half a Ninja Storm Spirit. Oh, hang on. Both heroes getting very, very low here. There is going to be a Fire Dragon Slave. It's a level 3 one as well, but Alpha Ninja will duke it out and pop the bottle charges. But yeah, in terms of CS, it's been kept fairly even here in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's surprising that Alpha Ninja manages to do so well in matchups that are not favored for him prior to level 6. I mean, once the Storm gets level 6, you can go for some pretty big outplays on any kind of...
Lightning Bolt here, spawning out the Invis Magnus, and Poison Touch
Close.
Won't be enough now. I believe it's only level 1 Poison Touch at this point, so yeah, it's going to bring him down, but it's going to get him out of lane, and it's going to force him potentially back to base here.
Yeah, mid is always a surprise, because in some matchups you shouldn't really win, and it's not to say that the Lina's doing poorly, it's just rare to see a Storm out-CSing a Lina. Like, Lina is one of the best laners in my opinion in this patch. She has 670 base attack range, Dragon Slave radius is just gigantic. And then you also have the ability of just bursting somebody if you manage to beat them to 6 in top lane.
Yeah, Silencer with a wrap round here, trying to get the curse on Dread. He will do. It's not going to be enough burst damage to bring him down. Silencer, he's going in with the glaive hits and the wave of terror, bringing Dread so low, 5 HP. But he will be able to get out with the Firefly. So Dread really playing on the edge of his seat here, but he's forced out back of lane, and he's not finding that much XP, and even with the shenanigans that Magnus has had, if you have a look at the Magnus, what level are we seeing Mag at the moment? Yeah, he's about a level ahead of the Batrider.
Really surprising that Dread has not been able to get too much. Usually the Radiant offlane is easier, because you have 2 camps that you can contest, and you have the cliff walking, so you can just go up into the river, you can go around, just be generally annoying to pretty much any combination of heroes, and I'm just like, a couple of things are not working out the way that they should be this game.
I mean, farm-wise as well, looking at both the PL and the Jug, you've got an equal amount of CS on both of them. So even though there's a difference in the amount of levels that the offlaners are finding, both carries respectively are farming absolutely fine. And PL with about 1.1k gold, looks like he is going to be going straight for that Vlad's build, so he can focus on heading into the jungle and continuing to have that momentum in terms of farm capability. If we look over at the Jug, what have we got so far? Oh, in fact, well, Artez, let's hold on a little bit, because he's going aggressive here onto Can low, and the skill will be out, and there'll be a TP as well coming in from Venge. And Jug 1.6k gold on himself at the moment, so stockpiling the gold a little bit. I mean, would you imagine we are just going to see the phase into Mask of Madness, or what's he waiting on here?
He might just buy the Mask of Madness first.
Yeah.
Some players opt to do that when they feel like, I can just go jungle and let one of my supports take the lane for a while. You could probably give it to Silencer. I think he benefits more from the early levels. Having global is great. And then you can just go ham, you know, just somebody commits to a team fight, you global, maybe you get a nice stun on middle lane onto the Storm, and an overlapping global can just be a kill on him. So there's a lot of potential to make stuff happen with that ulti. Whereas Swap is okay, but at level 1, it's more of a defensive tool than anything else, and not necessarily the greatest for starting fights. And with that, did he buy it? Yeah, he did.
He's got the recipe on it, and he's going to add to the side shot, finished it off. Well, mid lane, Storm Spirit does find a kill on Selena, gets cursed up, managing himself from White Peepo as well. But Alpha Ninja will be able to get up to the high ground, does get disarmed, so he's not going to be able to turn and do any damage more with that double damage rune. But he finds himself a kill on the Lina. So all in all, very nice bit of play there for Alpha Ninja. And Artes now with the completed Vlads at 7 minutes in.
I don't know how he always manages to get so much, like, top lane.
The old Omni slash on the Zeus,
yeah.
That'll do the trick.
The Mask of Madness Omni. I'm pretty sure he didn't know he had Mask of Madness because he just got run down. And Juggernaut, believe it or not, pretty fast. Don't worry though, Mask of Madness fanboys. It is being nerfed next patch.
30% down to 17 or something?
17, yeah.
17, yes. That's quite a heavy nerf.
Yeah, you lose like half the movement speed. Nice dodging here in middle lane as well from Ninja. Just not getting stunned up by the Lina. If that stun had landed, it would have definitely been a kill.
Yeah.
Nah, he lives to the Laguna though.
And he knows it does take a Dragon Slayer to the face, but this is Alpha Ninja in a nutshell. He knows the capabilities and the limits of the hero. He just goes in and kills the Lina.
Yeah, he's like, he vortexed in the mid animation of the stun as well, so he knew exactly what he was doing when he went in. And that's like, having a game plan before you go in, of course, like, yeah, you should have a plan, but nobody at like some levels of Dota really thinks about what they're going to do before they go in. But that's why he's able to make plays like that, because he realizes, okay, as long as I don't eat a stun, I can kill. So if I just make sure I stop the cast time, then I don't get stunned, he dies before I die. Very nicely done. Very
nice indeed there from Hellraisers. Top lane though, the side of Team Chappa, they're putting some pressure onto this tier 1, and it is now sitting at less than 25% health they have, but got on the side of Hellraisers Zeus, hanging in the sidelines, looking to soak up the XP from this lane that of course has been abandoned by the Batrider, who has headed to the jungle. There'll be a TP in now to the top tower by Alpha Ninja, and he's got an Invis rune as well. He's got a couple of bottle charges also. The healing ward is still out here. He's going to look for the silencer, look for the quick pick off. Is he going to be able to go for it on Metpum here now? And Dodge's Dota's still about.
Oh, they have to know now. Like, he had a little bit of unit pathing issues there, so he probably just knows they have an invis. Although usually people ping that. Yeah, they are going to hide. Okay. They are aware.
Okay, so 2 for 2 at the moment, 9 minutes in. It's feeling fairly even across the board. The only kind of discrepancy being that the Storm has had a better time than the Lina.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing that you don't expect to happen. They're still farming in equal terms, like CS-wise, but the fact that he's gotten 2 kills to his name, it helps him snowball so much more. Like, being level 9 and 9 minutes in as a Storm is like the dream, because you have max points on Overload, you already have treads, so your solo killing potential is high. You're even going to get the nice D ward down here and middle lane, and everything seems to be going very well right now for Hellraisers. And even Dread, who had a really bad start, has a prior to 10-minute Blink Dagger.
That's the power of the bat, isn't it?
Yep.
Heads off to the jungle, and on the side of Team Chappa, they've not really been focusing around the Radiant south of the map in that section, not much at all. Zeus eats an Omni Slash for the second time this game.
Yeah, there's not really much that he can do. If he's trying to contest the wave against Mask of Madness Jug with no tower, there's not really many spots you can juke to where the Juggernaut's not willing to try to chase you down, you know? He's got his core up, his phase, his Aquila, his Mask of Madness, and he'll just continue his kind of farm game. And the PL went Vlad's, kind of how we were expecting. Most Vlad's players, or PL players go Vlad's. But no one's really able to soak up much of the lane. It's just Affinage farming, Gorak farming, and the PL on top of that. So they're not really prioritizing their supports very much at all. It's just all about the bat having Blink. They're going to smoke up here. They're going to look for a pick.
There we go. And Silencer is going to be the target, and Silencer Just to be careful. He's going to have TP backup coming in from Pasha Invoker on the Lina. There's your Dread going in, and he goes for the Lina. They zip in as well. The Silence does come out onto Alpha Ninja through the curse, but they still kill Lina. And now Alpha Ninja, he just looks for more, finds the Vortex onto your Silencer. Silencer goes down as well. It's a killing spree now for Alpha Ninja on this Storm Spirit. There's a smoke up here by Dodger's Dota and White Peepo, but I mean, what can they achieve if they don't have Omni Slash? They're going to look for Roshan off the back of this. This is a bit of a risky play, to say the least, wouldn't you say, Driscoll?
It is a little bit risky, but sometimes the riskiest time to go for Roche is the best time, because the other team will just not expect you to do it. They'll be like, nah, it's too risky. They wouldn't go for this play. So you're like, haha, but it's the mind game, as in, we shouldn't go for it, so we will go for it. But if you look at the map, though, they're pushing the tier 1. Like, they're not going to just randomly stop attacking the tier 1 to go check Roche when they don't have vision.
That's true.
So, I mean, even if this is considered slightly risky, just seeing the heroes on the map gives them the feeling of safety to be able to do it.
And they're going to get away with it, indeed. Dodger's Dota claims himself the Aegis, and well, that nice bit of bonus gold is going to certainly help heroes like the Magnus. Dakinilo, 2K gold in the bank, very close to the Blink Dagger after a pretty horrendous lane at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, whenever you have these types of heroes who have spam, they always get their blinks like prior to 15 minutes, unless they're just dying over and over and over again. And he hasn't had a single death. So even though his lane was tough, he's level 8 at 12 minutes. He's got his blink. We can be looking to see potentially a smoke from the side of Chappa as well. Maybe they try to get a kill based off that. But even if he doesn't go for some big flashy plays, he can just run around and empower Dodgers, and he just continues to farm. As we can see, he's taking the Ancient stack here.
And even it's going to keep the Jug on par, and now just a little bit ahead of the PL in terms of farm. Top lane Dread is hanging around there on the back rider with Alpha Ninja, and of course, goddamn as well, just seeing if anyone TPs into the tier 1 to defend it. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case here, as we do see movement from Chappa heading towards the PL on the safe lane of the Radiant.
Yeah, this is a really big commitment here from Chappa. They need to try to find something.
Oh, very nice RP into the Skewer, into the Global Silence. Perfect control, their Magic Missile to seal the deal. And we talked about the big flashy plays. I mean, it wasn't a multi-man RP, but that was an RP that mattered there, catching out the PL.
It's worth committing a single RP when you have Aegis up, because that means you can just push into the tower. So Slasher was mentioning earlier in one of the previous games that the enemy team killed Roshan really early, but didn't utilize their Aegis effectively. This is a good way to utilize an Aegis. You force a 4v5 when you have an Aegis advantage, and you might be trading towers, but you still get the advantage from Roche. And if you want to continue pushing, you can probably make them TP back, and then they'll probably try to fight you because you don't have your ultis, but they're not going to force the TPs, they're just going to back a little bit early. So in the end, 1-for-1 tower trade, but they kill our test, so in the end, it's still better for Chappa, slightly. I
mean, just off that kind of 1 minute of gameplay there, I mean, it's not a big difference, but it is a difference now between the Jug and the PL in terms of net worth. You've got about 1,500 gold coming out. So, I mean, if they're able to keep up the momentum like that, the side of Chappa, they'll be able to bring the overall net worth back in control. I mean, the XP already has come back over to them, but it's still really kind of Alpha Ninja. The fact that he on top of the PL is farming very, very well, that's really keeping Hellraisers in control of the board in terms of net worth. And Silencer's managed to find himself a Midas recipe 14 minutes in on this support Silencer, and Jules pretty much complete on Lina. I think she's still just missing the Void Stone. So, I mean, things are going pretty well for Chappa.
It's not too bad, but the Lina is 0-3-0. Like, Pasha has died multiple times, whereas Affinage has not died at all and gotten multiple kills, and I'm pretty sure 2 of them at least were on the Lina. But the fact that he's like more than halfway through his Orchid already is scary. Lasso though.
Oh, nice a swap there, but it's going to actually be a very nice swap there. They bring Dread down off the back of that, and they lose nobody. Perfect. I've been to Chappa there with the plays to counter what looked like a very good initiation from Hellraisers.
It was very greedy because they had no vision on that part of the map. Like, they have a lane ward top and they have a ward in the jungle. So they basically saw next to nothing when he jumped. So just a little bit over-aggressive from Dread, possibly. He's not really played the best game so far that I've seen him play. He seems to be struggling a bit.
I mean, 15 minutes in, the Storm is going to become even more active very, very shortly. He's about 500 gold off finishing off his Orchid. And then, I mean, do you believe that's when we're going to start and see the
bottom?
Very nice RP onto Goretz, cancels the TP. In comes Dodger Dota. He wants to get the goal, wants to get the glory, and he will do indeed. Dominating kill streak now for your Juggernaut. And, I mean, 6 for 4. Team Chappa, they're really holding their own against Hellraisers.
It's not going too badly for them at all. It's true. The thing about HR's lineup versus Chappa is HR can fight pretty much any time, but Chappa have to fight around their ultimates. The difference is when they have both of their ultimates available, like the Global Silence and the RP, it's extremely difficult to fight into it, like beyond hard. So HR are going to be the ones always looking for the pick. They're always going to be looking to try to delay the game, because every time an ultimate is used, you can try to go for some kind of opening. You might be able to get Roshan and stuff like that. If Chappa are good about their ultimate usage and only drop them in really important scenarios, like when the HR fully commits, for example, or they can bait out maybe one of their cores and then take a fight off that, they can easily win a fight. And that can somersault into just Dodgers having way too much farm to be able to deal with. He has Empower. The late game on Chappa is also very good if the Silencer's Midas ends up paying off. And of course you have Lina too.
Actually, we're talking about Chappa's Jug. Just a point of contention in terms of the skill build. Arguably Juggernaut, one of the heroes that's at the top of he's one of the favourites this patch and in this meta, and a hero that's been built a lot of different ways in terms of skills. So going for the 2 points in the crit and just the one in the Blade Fury in the healing ward, the rest in the stats. What do you reckon about that? Well, Magnus does actually go down there as Dread's able to find himself a pick-off, but yeah, the Jug skill build, is there a reason why he's gone for what he has done this game?
It's pretty standard. Some players like going for max crit because it scales by 5% per level, and it gives you more overall DPS, but your survivability is decreased and your mana pool is not as good. So I think that he just likes having the stability of having the bonus tankiness, and with just Mask of Madness alone and FaZe and Aquila, you can sustain. Uh-oh, here we go.
Well, you're set to here onto the Dazzle. Global Silence is popped as well to make sure that there's no reinitiation from the side of Hellraisers. Goretz will make a quick dash up the river and try and escape. White people won't be able to find the range for a swap. We're going to see Afro Ninja coming in now on his Storm Spirit, and he's got a regen rune as well. Can he play around with this? And doesn't look like he's going to be able to for the time being, as Team Chappa, they back up and they look for reinforcements now. 4 members on the side of Team Chappa coming down the lane, and it doesn't look like Hellraisers want to fight headfirst into this.
Yeah, as far as the Juggernaut build goes, it's pretty standard.
Okay.
There's nothing really to talk about. The only difference is maybe some players would have preferred maxing out crit by now, but he's opted to go for the extra points in the stats. And I don't even believe, yeah, with his mana pool, you already have enough mana to use all of your abilities. So there's no even arguing that if he had 4 less stats, he wouldn't be able to use all of his skills in conjunction. You would be able to anyway.
Okay. Okay, 18 minutes in, 7-5 on the board. If we have a look at the net worth now, have they managed to swing it around, Team Chappa? Still in the favour of Hellraisers. I mean, the PL up on the top lane, getting the push on as it continues to find his farmer. What kind of items have we seen on the PL now? Has he managed to do anything after the Vlad? Yeah, he's got the Diffusal now as well, so he's very much in fighting shape now. Artez 18.5 minutes in.
He's gone bots, though. He has 900 health. Like, not even. It's like 891. It's insanely easy for him to get bursted. Now, he does have Diffusal, so if he gets global, he can purge himself and use Doppelganger. So he does have an avenue of escape, but I am a little bit concerned that if he gets picked off like once or twice, Chappa can maybe go for the next Roshan, which is going to be up anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes, depending on the timer. And then if you lose another Rosh, it's very possible that Chappa could deal some serious damage.
Chappa now with a push here onto the tier 1 in the mid lane. The Reef does get thrown down by the Dazzle, will begin to tick them down in terms of armor, but they stand their ground. There's no one here on the side of Hellraisers to back up the Dazzle, so they won't be able to stop the push. And Juggernaut dodges Dota, able to claim himself that tasty tower gold. And now back into their jungle. They don't quite see the Batrider here at the moment. They don't have any of their own wards in the jungle. So Dread, he's going to be all right. He's going to be able to get himself out. Afro Ninja, he's been spotted out by Dodger's Dota, but there isn't the control here to hold him back. And Artez is there to back up Afro Ninja if anyone wants to go in on him. Dodger's Dota will simply just Blade Fury off that Spirit Lance there, and yeah, both the PL and the Storm Spirit will back out at this one top lane. Dread goes in with the blink, and maybe this is why we're seeing the bots coming up early. He allows them to get into these ganks, but he's actually straight into an RP. Global Silence comes through as well. Dread, he's getting low. The Diffusal Blade was used there by the PL to remove the silence, and it looks like they do both get out, but that was a very nice RP then, even though it didn't find a kill. Maybe it will now with Dodgers going on to Dread. He does have the Omni Slash, and he will use it to secure the kill. But yeah, botsing into the RP, not the best move for the PL there.
I think he figured they had more damage, and they could have gotten a kill before any spells were used, but I think he maybe forgot about global, or he was trying to get the global intentionally, because the global down, killing Affinage becomes very, very difficult. But it depends on if they can make anything happen off that team fight, because they used RP and Global together.
That's true.
When both of those skills are on cooldown, there's a lot of opportunities for HR to play crazy aggressive, as long as Alina's not around, because he's the one hero who can just be like Yules into stun, into dead.
We see Storm hanging around here. Alpha Ninja with Goretz. On the side of Chappa, both the Silencer and the Magnus coming in for the defense. So of course, as we were saying, 45 seconds before that, RP is back off cooldown, and it's going to be the BKB picked up now by the Juggernaut. Ooh, Alpha Ninja in the tree line here. Looking for someone. They're just going to keep pushing. Alpha Ninja very deep and very alone here. Most certainly won't be looking to make any kind of play unless the rest of his team comes in to assist him, and RP is going to be back available in 20 or so seconds. Smoke up now, and I believe they smoked up just as the Radiant Ward. Did they deward that, or did it just time out?
No, he dewarded. He has a gem.
Okay.
The Venge has one, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they're not going to be aware. Well, they might kind of put two and two together that there's
Actually, I don't think they know at all.
No? I mean, it's going down so quickly as well. It's going to be hard for Hellraisers to stop this. Alpha Ninja.
Okay, here we go. Now he knows.
Here's the play.
Oh, the play.
Here's the
He's
play.
got room. He's got room.
Oh, no! That's the skewer. What's happening? RP was blown. Juggernaut does manage to get the Aegis and the Roshan.
What just... He balled onto the cliff.
And now he might die.
He got the Orchid off. No, he will die, though.
Yeah, he will.
He's dead.
Oh.
See it.
Yeah. What? That's
Sorry.
Yes. So we saw Storm zip in the same time that Magnus blinked up for the RP. Storm zipped out of the RP, avoiding it, but then got skewered out of the pit and back up to the other cliff.
Yeah, but he also fail jumped because he tried to jump to the high ground, used mana, but didn't actually go up to the high ground, which is why he got hit in the first place. But yeah, he could have gotten the steal, but he overestimated how much damage Chappa were actually doing to the Roshan at that point, because he was still at like 10% life when he balled into the pit, and then I think he panicked and then realized that he wasn't going to get it, or even if he could, it would have been like super risky.
Oh, hello. There's 3 heroes here.
Yeah. Chappa though, man, they're looking pretty strong right now.
They're looking pretty good, Team Chappa. They're not looking shabby at all. 10 for 5 at the moment, 23 minutes in. They're coming in on the mid lane onto the tier 2, and they do, of course, have this Aegis on the Juggernaut. He's got the BKB with the 10-second charge, and also the 1,800 gold in his bank as well. I mean, it couldn't be looking any better for Team Chappa.
Especially with the use of the mag. Like, BKB doesn't dispel Empower anymore, as I'm sure we've talked about in the past, but the Juggernaut versus the PL matchup, the Juggernaut doesn't care. Like, with a 10-second BKB and Empower, he will just chop until the PL is dead. Like, there's not going to be much that Artes is going to be able to do unless they can start baiting out some BKB charges. He is closing his on a Scotty, though. He's got the 2 ultimate orbs, and once he gets that, you can become pretty annoying for a lot of heroes, like just run them down and such. And if he can reach that critical tankiness to where he can't just instantly die in a disable anymore, I think they might be back in fighting shape.
Pasha Invoker's in trouble. He's going to be using himself up. The Global Silence comes out. Light Striker won't actually catch Artes, and Artes with the illusions, with that diffuse or burn damage, they're going to kill Valina, and there's no backup there to help her.
Yeah, Artes with the casual popping his bots during the middle of that fight. I think he might have like mishockeyd or something, because the Lina wasn't dead, and he used his boots of travel. That was really weird. But yeah, that was a really important pick there. They get the tier 2 tower. They force out another global. Every time that happens, Ninja just has like a sigh of relief.
Oh, forced off, and then they're going to be able to find the RP onto Ninja with the magic missile follow-up, and the crits coming out from Dodger's Dota. That's a dead Storm Spirit. And now Dodger's Dota looking for more Dread. He is in the tree line. Will pop the Firefly, get up to the high ground. The illusion just being thrown out there by PL. Looks like Chappa won't be able to find anything more here. But all in all, very nice little bit of a cheeky RP there to catch out Alpha Ninja.
It was quite fast, actually. Like, his blink and his force F timing were very in time. And then Ninja not reacting fast enough to try to ball away. So he dodged one RP, but he wasn't able to dodge that one. And I mean, it's okay for them to commit an RP just to kill one core, because if one core is dead, then the rest of HR feels a bit more hesitant to continue pushing out lanes, and they kind of have to group up a bit. And the strength of HR's lineup is they can play very efficient and aggressive.
Hello, Artes. He's chilling by the Ancients, and he's going to get caught out. He's got the doppelganger. He is a PL.
All right, he's dead.
Yeah, I'd like to see your definition of fine, Draskell, because it's not the same as mine. He is dead, Draskell.
I thought he would actually go a little bit farther. I think he got bad luck on where he spawned with his doppelganger. They do find Lina, though, in the meantime.
That's something.
So it's not like a total loss, but I thought he would actually be in a much better position after the doppelganger usage, or maybe it would have been better for him to just do it over the little crevasse, I guess,
the crevasse. That's a good
if you
point.
want to call it that, near the Ancients. But instead, he decided to do it to break trees, and it didn't work out for him.
Well, that's another very... I mean, they've killed the Storm and they've killed the PL in the last couple of minutes. And
Yep.
Team Chappa going from strength to strength. Boosted travel now picked up by the Juggernaut. And, I mean, yeah, 15,500 net worth. He's still a good 2k above the PL. He's a good 5k above the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit, of course, still having a much better game than the mid of Team Chappa. Lena still very much behind. And Nika Nilo, he's going to be found out by Alpha Ninja here, but Alpha Ninja's not going to be able to follow it through, especially with the thought in mind that Nika Nilo does have the RP available. Which has obviously caused a little bit of distress for Storm Spirit in the past. But 12-7 at the moment, 26.5 minutes. What is the plan now for the side of Hellraisers? Do they just want to kind of sit back and not look for these engagements and try and find some more farm on the PL?
They can go late, but it doesn't seem as good of an option anymore. As Gorik again, he's just going to get the rundown. 4 staff away. All right, he doesn't even use Omni there. I think that's actually the right call. It's very easy to just try to go for an Omni, but if only one person is eating the Omni, it's a guaranteed save with Shallow Grave, and then at 5 seconds is plenty of time for the Omni to run out, and then the Juggernaut's left behind tower, so not using it there was actually the right move, I feel.
Here we go, that's the tier 2 going down in a jiffy. That's off the map. And well, that was the second to last tier 2 there that was up for the side of the Radiant. They've only got the one left on the bottom lane. Hellraisers Artes looking for a bit of split push rat action of his own, but he's going to need to come back. I mean, they're onto the tier 3 now, all 5 of them. Is the fortification available here for the side of Radiant? Oh, the RP onto Artes. That's massive with the global signs, the Laguna Blade. That should be out down for a minute. No buyback as well, Draskell. Swap it onto Alpha Ninja. He goes down. They've also found the kill onto the Batrider. Zeus will fall as well. It's a triple kill for Dodger's Dota on the Juggernaut.
Is that just game over? It's a full minute before any of these heroes are alive. They get double racks easily. There's a tier 2 bottom, so they can't mega.
Team Chappa.
So maybe HR play this out, but I honestly feel like that was PTP'd in vision of an entire enemy team pushing his high ground with no buyback because he just bought a Scotty. That was a gigantic misplay. Like, maybe he didn't expect them to go that hard, but they had global and RP. Why would they not go that hard?
I mean, I think they can mega here, can't they?
No. There's a tier 2 bottom. They can't mega.
No, they can't. Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. They really can't mega.
But that's a huge...
2 racks, 28 minutes in.
That's huge to lose 2 racks like that, especially in something that was easily avoidable. Like, all he had to do was not TP in front of them.
Well, Shadowblade down you, Magnus.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
I mean,
nice.
that Juggernaut, after that base push, now has almost 5,000 gold.
That's not bad.
Decent farm. 20,000 net worth at 28 minutes.
Aghanim Scepter on your support silence at 28 minutes in.
Radiant structure.
Yeah.
Abyssal Blade on your Jug.
That was absolutely
Yours
catastrophic.
on your position 5 Vengeful Spirit.
I can see Slasher from here, and the look on his face is just like, what the hell just happened? But I totally agree. Like, that was completely out of the ordinary for Hellraisers to make that kind of mistake. But again, props to Chappa. I mean, they saw the opportunity and they seized it. Not only did they seize it, but they killed 2 more heroes after Artes was already dead. So they didn't just take it. They grabbed it and then they yanked on it till there was nothing left of the base of HR. And then it was a sad time.
16-7 here at the moment. Yeah, indeed. I mean, we talked about the fact that Jug can deal well with the PL illusions, of course, with the Empower, and especially when he's got this much of an advantage in terms of farm, it's going to be so hard for the PL to do anything against his Juggernaut.
He's massive. Like, he's used his BKB 1 time. So normally, the strength of playing against a lineup that has early BKB buyers is that by the time they start going high ground, they'll be lower duration BKBs. This is a 9-second BKB. I don't even know, like, how did they have all their ultimates up again? I don't know how they fight this.
Alpha Ninja's got a Bloodstone. Maybe that's going to be the big comeback item. We're kind of scraping at straws here. Hellraisers need something to turn this one around. They've smoked off Artes, but Artes doesn't want to jump in yet. Dodges Dota, just goes straight up back to the high ground onto the tier 3 Dread with the wraparound. Will find a Lasso on to the Lena. There's the global silence coming out. BKB pop by Dodges Dota. He just focuses down Alpha Ninja. Alpha Ninja's dead. RP now onto Artes. Again, perfect control of the 2 cores. There's going to be a Shallow Grave coming out, and Artes will be able to doppelgang out, but Omni Slash bouncing through.
That's it.
Picks off your Zeus. It picks off your Dazzle. Dazzle will buy back. They've lost the PL. PL does have buyback. Ninja is going to be back in 13 seconds. Can they do anything here as they look to try and defend the remainder of the racks? But that's your melee, that's your range racks going down as well. It's mega creeps now favoring the side of the Dire. Artez looking to chase this down. Flame Break comes through. Blink from Nicolinos trying to find the Batrider. Pasha Invoker, he's going to just turn and he's going to fight Artez. He's not scared of this PL. He should be now though, because he does die. They've lost 2, they have lost 3, they have lost 4.
No.
But at what cost?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. Like, it would have been better, obviously, to get away from that fight. There was no reason for Dodgers to turn around. Like, his team was dead. There was no way he was going to save him. So they did kind of get the, I think we won strategy thing going in their head. And the gold swing and the experience swing are great, but they don't have the heroes to push out the waves, and everyone on Chappa has buyout. So as soon as they get to high ground, everyone on Chappa buys back, and HR probably just say GG because they can't push. Maybe they think that for some reason that there's no buyouts, but even with that, like getting Megad at 30 minutes, your heroes aren't strong enough to counter push. These things hit for 100 damage a piece and have 1300 HP. Like how do you push that out with your heroes? Like, sure, you have Vlad's on your PL, so he can push out one lane, and then you got a Storm. But you need a third hero who can actually push out.
I mean, where did it all go wrong here for Hellraisers?
It was honestly only one bad misplay.
That TP.
I feel like even at that stage in the game, if HR have a proper high ground defense, they delay the game, the PL will eventually be that huge factor that they needed it to be. And then it's just like, boom, we have PL online, we got Storm online. Even with globals, if the Storm gets BKB, you can play around it. Like there is a possibility for HR to win that game. Even if they got like single racks, I would say they could still win. But they get double racks, lose 3 heroes because Artest TPs in front of their whole team during daytime. Like, I don't know if he didn't see them or if they were smoked or what the thing was, but I don't know.
Boys, smoke up here from the side of the Dire and Wave of Terror into the swap. They caught out, goddamn. Global Silence comes out. There isn't going to be any shallow grave for this Dazzle. And how Dazzle goes down there to the blade of the Juggernaut. Then the Guzrath will come out. There's going to be Blink Fall from Dread. We'll get the Lasso onto the Magnus. There's going to be Affinage zipping around at the back of the fight, causing a bit of an issue. There's going to be the RP that catches just out the Batrider. No one has died down the side of the Dire. They do lose the Silence. So Laguna Blade onto Storm, bringing him low. He's going to keep zip-zapping. He's getting himself failed. They've lost the Jug. Affinage will be able to find the Lina. There's a double kill now for the Storm Spirit. It's a 3-for-2 trade. But I just can't help but feeling they're going to need more than that kind of a trade to get themselves back in the game at this point.
If only they could have outplayed like that.
Yeah.
And the base. Like it was just like, there's not very many games in this patch where the game ends abruptly, like that kind of style, where the enemy team just catches out one person without buyback and the base just explodes. That does not happen very often. So it's really crazy that Chappa managed to find a situation like that. But again, props to him. I mean, we're talking as if the game is over. If HR are still playing, I just don't really see a whole lot of options, because right now, all 3 of their lanes are always being pushed in. Even after killing Chappa, nobody buys back. Nobody's even worried about Roshan contention because Megas are shoving in the base of HR 24/7. They're never going to get any relief from this pressure. The only thing they can hope for is maybe their PL buys like a Battle Fury or something, and he just like starts botting from wave to wave with Battle Fury and just shoves them all out on his own. And maybe Affinage can go for some big Storm plays and try to carry his team that way. Like, I guess anything is possible in Dota, but this is maybe one of the hardest situations to win in.
We see Artez trying to push out this mid lane, and Magnus in the jungle at the moment. There's going to be a 4-man smoke up from the side of Hellraisers. Dread leading the charge. All ultimates are available. And, well, Ping's coming out here in the mid lane. Going to be able to go and jump on, catch anyone out here. Dread up to the high ground. He's going to just go for the Vengeful Spirit. Does bring him back. And with the burst damage from the Zeus and the Storm, bringing him low. But, well, the Yule Scepter buying White Peepo some time. Throws a Magic Missile onto White Goretz. Goretz does go down. And Vengeful... No, so Goretz survives, and Goretz finds the kill onto Vengeful Spirit. Artez won't be able to survive. Just gets himself out of there. Global Silence now coming through from the Silencer. Dodges Dota, looking for a potential Omni Slash onto a Victor. And Alpha Ninja zips away. Isn't going to find it there. It was stunned from the Light Strike Array onto Goddamn, but Goddamn's just going to TP out. There's your Scepter, though, to cancel the TP. And, well, one final Light Strike Array will do the job. It is a 1-for-1 trade there, but all in all, a little bit of a messy fight, that one. But still, the Mega Creeps going straight up to the high ground at the Radiant's base, and the Dire will be able to find Roshan here as well.
With this Roshan and the cheese, the Aegis on Dodgers, I think that'll be more than enough for them to seal the game. Interestingly, he sold his Mask of Madness and he bought a Eagle Song. I mean, sure, with the Aegis it makes sense because you can just finish the full butterfly, which he's doing right now. But typically people are very hesitant to part with that item as it offers quite a bit.
Oh yeah, 100 attack speed is not bad at any point in the game.
30% movement speed as well. Not bad. Pretty much guarantees that with SNY and any kind of boot you're running at 522. So yeah, he's got 5 hard slots right now, like SNY, BKB, bots, butterfly, abyssal. That is a stacked juggernaut.
You got to hand it to the side of Hellraisers. They've not lost their tier 4s yet against Mega Creeps.
They're defending very well. It's just that no matter how well you defend, you're never going to be able to defend and kill them and push at the same time. That's why Megas are so game-ending. Because you need to be able to counter-push waves to be able to take objectives. And if you're fighting, you're not counter-pushing. And if you're not counter-pushing and you're against Megas, your waves are getting pushed in, which eventually means when the fight ends, even if you win that fight, you have to go back to pushing out instead of being able to take an objective of your own. So that's the problem. Like, they don't have the heroes to push out quickly enough. So even if they keep outplaying and keep winning team fights, they would have to keep doing that for a very, very, very long time before they actually had heroes strong enough to defend and push on their own and have somebody else just go up a lane and try to fight that. So, yeah.
There we go. Nicanilo looking for that RP, and he's going to find it onto Goretz, and goddamn, Omni Slash coming through as well. Just blows up the 2 supports. Buyback now from the Zeus. Dazzle doesn't have buyback, so it is going to be a 4 versus 5 engagement here as the Dire do head up to the high ground. Not just Dodo, of course, he does have that Abyssal available.
Oh no, he
misclicked. He doesn't get it off. Net Pump does get dragged in, but the Yule Scepter onto the Storm Spirit. It's already a triple kill for your Juggernaut as 3 people fall. There'll be a buyback from Storm Spirit. BKB popped by Dodgers as he continues to fight up against the PL. Chappa, Passion Invoker looking for the stun on Alpha Ninja, but he's zipping it through. He's found himself a double kill, trying to go on Passion, but the Ghost Scepter is popped, turns around with Dragon Slave. Now the Lasso will catch out the Juggernaut, but there's still the Jug, the Magnus, and the Linus to deal with here. Artez coming in with the Diffusal Blade onto Dodger's Dodo, but he just turns around, gets the Passion to Artez. Artez, he's going to duke it out with the Doppelganger. Now turns it back around. Had the health boost there as well. Alpha Ninja did die in the Bloodstone, gave him the bonus health, but it's just not enough. I mean, the tier 4s are down. They're onto the ancient, and GG well played is called. And well, Chappa say the first game of this series a little bit messily at the end, but for the majority of the mid game, very convincingly.
Well, they didn't have a huge lead until what happened top. That's the thing. Like, I would say it was maybe slightly favoring Hellraisers because their lineup, not because they were necessarily ahead in golden net worth, but because their heroes, I feel, translated better into the late game because they can do more things more often. Whereas Chappa were very reliant on global and RP. But they just made it happen. Like, if you have the ultis and you use them properly, you find a high priority kill like Artes at his base. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, if you get picked off, say he's at the river, right? He's just farming. He gets picked off and he's like pushing out a lane. You can't just immediately kill the enemy's base because it takes time to go from A to B. But if you're just standing at the tier 3 and Artes teleports in front of you and it's like, oh, free kill. Maybe they even assumed he had buyback. Still doesn't matter. They would go for it anyway. You know, free kill on the PL, force buyback, retreat. Still a good trade. But they get lucky because he had just finished his Scotty. And that is the only thing in this game, in my opinion, that is worth talking about. Because if that didn't happen and HR continued playing it out, there was a very good chance that they could have won. So this game to me only came down to like that point. It's like he TPs, he gets caught, his base, he gets double racks, and then it's like, they could have maybe even won from being double raxed, but that was such a huge swing. Like, they showed the graph, it was like 10,000 in both experience and gold after that. And it's like, oh, we have lost.
It was not a great swing at all, if you're the side of Hellraisers. And, well, of course, it's a best of 3. We're going to be going to game 2 very shortly, and we'll see if Hellraisers are able to bring it back against the side of Team Chappa. But, of course, well played to the side of Team Chappa. They did do very well there in that first game, and the Juggernaut landing up 18 kills, 2 deaths. Standard Juggernaut play if the Jug gets his farm. So we'll see if they maybe even think about the Juggernaut ban the side of Hellraisers in the next series. But first of all, myself and Draskell, we're going to leave you. We're going to send you over to some commercials and then over to our experts over on the panel. So we'll catch you guys in a bit for game 2.